red, ladies in red, ladies in red, ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the ladies in red.
Hi guys, welcome to Ladies in Red. I hope you are all doing well. I hope that you're all looking forward to this. I certainly am. It's been a while since I've spoken to you guys and got your thoughts. Obviously, you know me. I'm a United channel. I'm United based, but it doesn't mean you have to be a United fan to get involved. All fans are welcome in this call-in show. So I recommend that any fans get involved and get talking. I know Chelsea are playing tonight, so Chelsea fans, if you want to have a little natter before you guys kick off, feel free to come and join in as well. Fulham, of course. I'm not writing you guys off as well. But yeah, I've got a few people already waiting and I'm going to get straight into it very, very soon. But firstly, obviously, we're making a sign-in, it seems. Weghorst is coming to United. He's landed in Manchester, apparently. And I know a lot of people are mixed on it. We need a goal scorer. We need a striker. It brings us something a bit different. He's not the most glamorous name, but I think we need a short-term fix. Ten Hag obviously sees him as that guy. I trust the manager, and that's what I'm going to say on the matter, but I'm going to obviously get your guys' thoughts as well on that. And first up, we have Ashley. Ashley, how are you doing?
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, Ashley. Thank you for coming on. How are you?
Cape Town it's windy, hot. All of that.
Freezing,
yeah. My thought I wanted to say was I like Ten Hag. I like his discipline, what he's brought to the team. I like the way we're playing. Martinez is my guy. I like the things that we are doing. We look positive. The only thing is Anthony is just getting a little bit on my nerves because he's not hitting the ball in. He's always cutting on his left.
Yeah.
Rashford, I just love Rashford to death. He's doing his thing. I think overall, I think we played really well. We are playing really well. There is positives there. I just think that we need to work on our corners and our crossing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, so what do you think of South African coach Benny McCarthy? I mean, I haven't really asked you about that. How do you feel about him being a striker himself for Porto?
Obviously, I don't see what happens on the training pitch. I don't see what happens in the background. All I can talk about is results, obviously, on the pitch. And Marcus Rashford, you've already mentioned him there. Like, he seems to be hitting that form that we were kind of hoping he would hit back in the day, when he kind of broke on the scene. And Rashford is seeming more like the old Rashford. Last season was a really off season for him. And obviously, all credit to McCarthy on that front because he seems so clinical in front of goal. He seems so confident. I remember at times Rashford would be front on goal and you'd really doubt him. And at the minute, you just don't doubt him in front of goal. You feel like he's being clinical and he's just so confident. And I think McCarthy has to play a big part in that. And look, I can't talk. Obviously, Martial hasn't really shown that as of yet. Can he? I hope so. And Weghorst coming in. Let's see what kind of work McCarthy can do with him. But on the Rashford front, I can definitely say that there's been a positive impact. And I just hope long may it continue, especially in the derby at the weekend. But how are you feeling going into that derby?
I think more positive. I think this time we are more positive.
Yeah.
We are more prepared. Casemiro is clicking. Eriksen is clicking. Bruno is clicking. I think we probably have the best midfield now that we had since Fergie. I think this is probably the most time we all can sit up. I was watching a clip of Robbie of Arsenal TV, and they're still crying about the fact that we won them. Since the whole time I've been watching them on ATV, they're complaining about United beating them all the time. You must talk to that guy, man. And I think it was him and Abby, and I think Sophie, the Chelsea supporter, and he asked them, can United win the title? And I listened to him, I'm like, oh, you nervous now, eh? All of a sudden, you're getting nervous now, eh? So I said, okay. And I'm watching, because if you watch the clip, you can see he's getting nervous now, because we have to play them as well. We're playing them next.
Yeah.
I think if we can get a result for both of these games, we go top. I think we go top. We play Palace, I think, on Wednesday. I think the one that we need I think.
Yeah, so we've got a tough run, to be fair, coming up. A lot of games in a short space of time.
I honestly think we're going to find a semi-final of a Carabao Cup. Yes, because you got the easier draw than Southampton because Newcastle are playing well. I think we can beat him, man. Tell you, I'm watching this game as I'm sitting here watching them lose 2-0. Look, I think if we got disciplines and we play positive football and not allow De Bruyne to run the show like he always does, and don't give balance spaces and make it tighter for him.
Yeah.
And Anthony is attacking with Rashford. I think we can get a nick, maybe a 2-1. And they come to us as well. I think we can just be positive, man. That's the thing. We need to be more positive on that side. I think I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the Ronaldo's thing? Are you happy this gone? And how do you feel about Ten Hag's handling of that situation?
Um, I'll be honest. I think I just say big up to George, big up to Steve, S Walker, Callum as well, Lone Star, everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone. Curlis is there as well. I've seen Curlis there. But yeah, I think look, Ronaldo situation. I'm not going to lie. When Ronaldo came back, it was like the happiest day I can remember as a United fan in a long time. It was just like I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. So I'm not going to act like I didn't want him back or anything like that because I was absolutely buzzing that he came back to United. It's the most happy day that I've had for a while, other than when Ten Hag came and I was buzzing with that. But I think the whole interview thing for me, I lost a lot of respect for him. I've got to be honest, because for me, if you're seeing an interview with Piers Morgan of all people, who's an Arsenal fan,
And that guy is a.
you know what I mean, straight away that's never going to be a winner, never going to be a winner. And I know they spoke about the Glazers and the way the club's run, and fair enough, he did that, but we all know that was for his own personal gain. That wasn't for the whole reason why we'd want it to be.
Okay.
And if you posted an interview and say, I can still play top level, I can play Champions League football, I want to play Champions League football, but then go for a play out in Saudi Arabia, I'm sorry, but you've just shot yourself in the foot, basically. You've gone against everything that you've said. And I can't respect that. And it hurt, as a fan of Ronaldo, as someone who absolutely adores the guy, like, it hurt my feelings. I can't lie. Like, the fact that he did that, I'm not going to say it tarnished his reputation, because he'll always be a legend for what he did at United. Of course he will.
Yeah, you're right.
He'll always be one of the best. But it was just a total contradiction, and I didn't quite understand it. I think it was a really bad decision of him to do it. I know reports came out afterwards that he's fell out with Mendes now because Mendes advised him not to do it as well. And it's just a really disappointing way for it to end. How much sad he's gone? I wouldn't say so, because I feel like we've shown, especially with our form of late, that we're not really lacking in that sense. I know we need a goal scorer, but Ronaldo wasn't even starting anyway, was he? So it was just that constant circus. We had it with Paul Pogba as well. I'd rather do without that. I just want to focus on my team playing good football. That's all I want to.
Yeah,
I want to be entertained.
agree with you.
Yeah,
I mean,
so that's my spot on it. I was just.
Look at
it was
Bruno's
a bad
playing
way to
without
go.
him. Look at Bruno's playing without him in the team.
Yeah,
Bruno's looking like he's a new player all of a sudden. But I think to make on that point, what you were saying about his attitude, if you had just lifted by the Glazer family and how the stadium look and how the training ground, then I would have liked it. Okay, then I have a good shot. But the fact that he drew the line where he said,
yeah,
Ten Hag, give me respect for you. I'm like, this guy's defended you from day one.
yeah.
He hasn't dismissed you. He's always backed you. But okay, fair enough. He did his thing. Because I heard Marco Reus might be joining him.
Okay.
I saw on Sky, they said on Sky Sports, I saw this article where they were saying that Marco Reus might be joining him.
Yeah.
In
I imagine a few will follow.
countries. Different countries. Somebody told me, one of my friends told me, a United friend told me that Kante also might be joining him.
But if Ronaldo just said, "Look, I want to, I'm not playing football. I want to play regular football," and he just went to Saudi Arabia, all of us fans would have respected that. It's the fact he did this interview and he was talking about, "Oh, I'm going to play Champions League football. I'm moving on to pastures new." You know what I mean? And that was the thing that got me because it was
kind
just
of money this guy's earning. Did you hear the money he's earning?
yeah,
I think it's only like £26 a second.
yeah, it's a joke. I
That's
don't know the exact figures, but I know it's an absolute joke.
You will hear something crazy. My neighbor is a
Yeah.
police officer. He's a City fan. My friend across the road from me is an Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
My guy who lives behind me is a Chelsea supporter. My two friends are both Liverpool fans. My dad's a Liverpool fan.
yeah,
Got a guy behind is a Tottenham supporter.
yeah.
I got the guy on the corner from my house is an Arsenal fan. But the thing is that I think we are scaring people now. We're giving people they're setting up and looking straight at us now. We can see we are threat. I saw they Cody Gakpo on Jay's on channel the other day. I saw he interviewed Tomish, and he said about the Gakpo thing, and he said United actually won out the Gakpo. It was just an alternative to Anthony. I think with this guy coming in, I think if he can integrate himself quickly into our team, then I think you'll probably be playing for Arsenal's game. But you won't be playing this weekend. I don't think so. If we can get into the Arsenal, if we can get him available for Arsenal game, then and we can get him to scoring early, I think we can really. I'm really positive this year. I think this is the year that we can really win a trophy. I think we can win the Carabao Cup. And I think
We've got to think that now, haven't we? Surely, when you see the teams that are left,
I think we can win the Europa League as well. The way we are playing now, from the first day, from 6 months now. I was still have now been in the team now 8 months now.
yeah.
He's been playing sensational. What do you think of Ten Hag's performance so far? What do you make 74% win rate?
I think,
Passes,
to be fair, Curtis has said it there. Like, considering all the stuff that he's had to deal with off the pitch, let alone the issues on the pitch that he obviously walked into, I think he's dealt everything just first class. Honestly, I'm not going to get it too blown away because, like I say, I think the next run of games that we have are crucial for our season. But there's clear signs of progress. You know, you can clearly see that they seem a happier place to be. Players are more willing to come to United now because the environment is just much more welcoming. We haven't got that toxic vibe that we had with the likes of Ronaldo and the likes of Pogba. Like, that's gone now. And I just feel like we're heading in the right direction, which for ages I felt like we were in free fall basically. Obviously, we've still got the big question: are we going to be sold? When is it going to happen? Obviously, we need that sorting. And so with the whole Weghorst thing, I'm not getting too wrapped up. The whole Gakpo missing out on that, I'm not getting too wrapped up on it because I think if we sacrifice missing out on a few targets for the sake of selling this club, I'll take that right now because I think we are desperate to get those new owners.
Yeah,
in.
I don't think he missed out on Apple so much. I think Ten Hag wanted the right player. I mean, he wants the right player.
He's not a 9, is he? He's not a 9, and I think he obviously wants a 9.
So what be successful for you with the season when the season ends? What would you like from Ten Hag from the team?
I always said top 4 and a trophy would be nice, and I still stand by that. And now, obviously, we're getting closer to that trophy, and I still think top 4 has to be the target. After this run of games, if we have positive results, we may be up in that top 2, like you mentioned, and then maybe we can start to talk about.
I know Flex said it after the Arsenal game. He said it to Robbie. He said because Robbie asked him, "Where do you think United going to finish?" So he said, "Do you think that Arsenal will finish above us?" But just after we won, they were so crying about it after that game. So, but the thing is, what I realized is that look at us in the beginning. People were mocking us for Brighton and for Brentford, but Brentford has beaten Liverpool and both Manchester clubs this season. And you see what Brighton did to Chelsea; they hammered them. I think as well. I think this year, I think we can win the trophy. I think we'll win the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
And I think top 4. But I think the problem for me is if we can get those 2 wins now and win our extra game and to work gap because I feel Liverpool lost the game and we won our game. If we can start opening a gap to 4th and 5th, get that results, opening a gap, then I think we can strengthen our position because I don't think we'll be playing the bigger team again after I think March. I think if I'm can win.
I think the interesting thing with the Premier League is it doesn't matter who you're playing. Like, you have to bring your A game. Like, anybody can beat anybody. This season has proved that, hasn't it? And the most consistent teams realistically will get top 4. So it's about going on that consistent run now, which is why the next bout of games is just so crucial for us because we've got test after test after test. It's about keeping our key players fit, isn't it? And it's about that for anyone, keeping those key players.
Every game is a test.
Weghorst is an interesting signing because it might not necessarily start every game, but it gives us something different off the bench. You know, them games where we're struggling to break teams down, teams are sitting in. And how many times have we whipped the ball into the box and you've got like Rashford in there and you've got nobody really to attack it? Weghorst gives us that. I think that.
What is the Dalo? Sorry if I may ask you, what happened to Dalo with the injury? Did anyone hear anything about how long he's going to be out, or he's just a minor?
I believe he's edging his way back in there, isn't he? I think he's had a few minutes here and there, working his way to full fitness. Maybe ready for the derby. I hope he is, to be fair. But Wan-Bissaka, in all fairness to him, I think he's
played well. He's played well. He's played really well.
Chances well.
Who has impressed you so far from the signings, and who has impressed you of the overall squad?
I've got a big smile on my face. I haven't even said his name yet, but Casemiro, like, I absolutely. Martinez, outstanding, of course. Every signing, to be fair, has been outstanding, but I just can't. The baby-faced assassin, I call him, because he's just got like. I don't know, he's got like chubby cheeks, and I just love Casemiro. He's not look, he's just infectious.
I think he's been. I agree with you. He's been. I think because of finding occasion of we're starting to get a reputation now that the other supporters are saying Casemiro. In that interview, if you just check it out on AST, you'll see Robbie says, no, but Casemiro. And he's like, Casemiro's been a world-class signing for them. And they're like, can they win that title? So I think, what I think is, for me, I think that Sports Talk was nailing Martinez. Now they're singing his praises. All of a sudden, Simon Jordan is not crying like a kid anymore, getting attacking Eric. I think we have been more positive. We play more attacking football. I think in the beginning we were struggling, but I think that winning against Liverpool was a big stepping stone for us this season. And how's your season going so far?
It's all right, you know. All right. I've had a few injuries, to be fair. It's been a bit of an unfortunate one, but I've started playing five-a-side in a men's league, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I'm loving it. It's great. But Ashley, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on. My last thing I'm going to ask is, what is your prediction for the derby on the weekend?
I think 2-1 United.
Love that.
I think Rashford brace.
You know what? I hope you're spot on.
Me too.
You so much for coming on. I appreciate it. You take care. See you, man. Yeah, bye. So there you go. There's Ashley's thoughts on it. Very positive going into that derby, and obviously I'll be asking everyone. So get prepared, everyone who's waiting to come on, because I will be asking you that score prediction. I'm interested to see what the consensus is. Going into that derby, because I do agree with what Ashley said. It's a lot more positive than the first time we played City. It feels like the mood around the club is a lot more positive. We're on a better run of form, and it'd be interesting to see. And next up, I have got Curlers. Always a pleasure, Curlers. How you doing?
Not bad. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, you all good?
Yeah, not bad. Happy New Year to
you,
everybody. Have to say, we are buzzing as a club. It's just a joy to see us actually playing and winning games.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
Just going to have.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to have one gripe. It's my gripe of the week, I think. Did we see the Rio Ferdinand podcast?
I haven't actually watched it. I saw the tweet that was promoting it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, well, I have to say, why would you say what he said about Harry Maguire, given the fact that he himself, who played under Sir Alex Ferguson, knows that if you're not performing or playing well, you're not starting.
Yeah.
But yet he's got the front to say Maguire should be in Ten Hag's office demanding that he plays or moves.
Yeah, I think it's like the reason why a lot of people say things on social media is to get certain amount of views, isn't it? I think if you're honest, you've got to have that. You can't have everything that's like smooth running. There's got to be that little contradiction in there. There's got to be something that gets people talking. And I think that it's a bit like the Thomas Part B and Casemiro links that we're seeing constantly all over the place at the minute. I'm just not about that at all. Yeah, there's always someone who's got to conflict something, and I think that's what that's about, isn't it? It's about that oppositional view.
It's just been, I think, for all the positivity that we're all experiencing, it's the negative podcasts that you still see. There was another one, I'm not going to say her name on here, but she's releasing a podcast with the thumbnail that they're planning. There's people behind the scenes planning to get Ten Hag out the club, and I seen that and I just thought to myself, you can't possibly support this club if you're releasing crap like that.
Yeah, like I say, I think it's people used to say all the time about AFTV when Arsenal were doing bad. AFTV's views were through the roof because there was something to moan about. There was that conflict there. There's that debate, and I feel like it's like that certain topics people try and make that toxic atmosphere.
Yeah, people just can't be happy.
You rise above it. You just enjoy it while you can. And I think for so long now we've been down there, haven't we? So to actually be able to smile and look forward to seeing my team play, like that's something I'm relishing at the moment. Now, what's your thought on Ten Hag's progress so far? And I'm saying so far because obviously it's still early days, isn't it? But
well, he's been 6 months he's been here. So I mean, I would reiterate what I've said. If you look at how he's handled all the problems, he's done it with real class. You know, he's been very cool about everything from how the owners are acting to the Ronaldo crap to the egos.
Yeah,
he's dealt with all of it without really, breaking a sweat. And his statement this week was fantastic. Did you see that, where he was talking about what the club had done over the years? You know, the poor the poor purchases, the lack of commitment from players, and how players need to come to this club with the understanding that they're here to play for the badge. And, the weight of the badge at this club is heavier than it is with others.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's just a joy. It's a joy to sit and watch them. Don't get me wrong, I've been gripey in bits when I've been doing the tweets when I've been watching the games because they were poor at Everton, I felt.
Yeah.
And they've been sloppy in a few other games. They play for 60 minutes and then they sort of switch off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of my bugbear. And
I
then
agree. I do still think we do concede a bit too many chances for my liking. And I think against the better teams, that's where you're obviously going to get punished. If you do that against Man City, you'll definitely get punished. But there has been improvements. We're not 100% there yet. And for anybody who thinks, we're the best team in the world, is just deluded because we're not. But we were to where we are now, you can't help but get excited because, as you say, it's still really early days, isn't it? And what's your thoughts on? I know your thoughts on Weghorst were a bit different, shall we say? A bit mixed.
I think my point is, I think it's a fair point. If you look at the Weghorst signing, I break it down to two parts. The positive part is obviously Ten Hag is obviously now working under constraints because they're not going to buy anybody because they're selling.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be a loan, and there's obviously options on what he can get or limitations on what he can get.
Yeah.
Now, of all the players that he could have got, because Giroud was there, but he wanted more money and he wanted a longer term contract. And then there was Felix, and then there was a host of others, albeit limited.
Mm-hmm.
His pick is a player that he knows.
Yeah.
So he has decided that for 6 months, I'm going to use the player, I'm going to get the player that I know what he's going to bring to United. And I'm all for that. I've said it, I've tweeted it numerous times today again. That suits me. I'm all for that. And he'll get my backing. And if the guy can step up and deliver what he's doing with his stats, then we're in for a host of goals.
Definitely. Let's say a quick hello, Curler, to Layla May. Hello, Layla. Hope you're doing well. And George has said here, a positive with the Weghorst movies that is obviously another body in there. His physicality. Is he 6'6"? Is he 6'6"?
Yeah, he's massive.
Yeah.
He's 6'6".
He's huge. He presses well. Goal scoring, as considering we want to sign a goal scorer.
It's 1 and 2. He's got a 1 and 2 ratio. So as I say, I'm all for that. But what I do say, and it's not an insult comment, it's a reflective comment. If the Glazers go in the summer, and that's what we all want, a full sale, and they just go, the Weghorst signing will be the last signing that they make, but it will be a reflective signing on the fact that he's not a top name. They've not rushed out to continue to support the manager, and build the team. They've went just for a sticking plaster option, a cheap option.
Do you worry that it's Igalo times 2? Or obviously we didn't have Ten Hag in charge.
I actually liked Igalo, so
I didn't dislike the guy, but what I mean is he was kind of a signing that nobody really understood and the age he was at.
This is what I'm saying. I think it's a case of Eric Ten Hag's known that he's going to be extremely limited.
Yeah.
So this is what he's went for. I mean, let's be honest about it. If I said, here's £1 million, there's 10 players on a list.
Yeah.
Man United are going to sign one of them on loan this summer, this January. Would you have got Weghorst out?
When I saw the Giroud link, so I got excited. I was thinking I'd definitely take Giroud United.
I mean, I was salivating at the prospect for, but as I say, it is what it is, and I respect the fact that all Ten Hag signings have worked.
Yeah, I'll back Ten Hag. I have got complete faith in my manager, and like I say, Weghorst, I'll completely back him, and hopefully he can prove to be useful for us.
As I say, he's got my backing, but it's a 6-month loan, and as I say, it is what it is.
Definitely.
That's why I said what I said. It is a slap in the face still to fans, because fans were wanting maybe 2 or 3 signings.
We've got to be realistic, haven't we? With obviously the whole situation.
Yeah, as I say, he's never going to get the money because, unlike Liverpool owners, our lot are not going to spend.
Yeah.
So in many ways, it's a final slap in the face, and it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's like that short-term pain for long-term gain, isn't it? I think it's one of them where we've got to be patient and got to
say, Eric Ten Hag is just going to have to, do what he's doing, rely on what he's doing with the squad, and if maybe we can get one other loan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's talk about a right back, I think.
Yeah. And obviously the whole Wan-Bissaka situation as well. A lot of people thought he was already out the door, but last few games with Delo being injured, he's had a chance.
I actually thought he would stay. He's been injured. As I say, with Eric Ten Hag, being here only for 6 months, I didn't think he had got a fair shake. But as I say, I think he'll stay. But I think it might be a lot of some of the younger players will go. I think Alanga might go to free up Pellistri and Ahmad, and probably Iqbal as well to play in that
I want to see more of Pellistri. Every time I see him, I'm excited by him.
I can't understand why he's not playing. I mean, he can play in the Uruguay side.
Yeah, he's been. And to be fair, when we have seen him, he looks proper tidy, doesn't he? He's a very nippy player, and I do like him.
Very clever player. He's looking at Joe. He's got a good brain on him, because you can see when he's running at defenders, he's waiting for the defender to commit.
Yeah.
Before he decides which way he's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one, but I'm excited for the second half of the season to see if we can keep up this vein of form. And talking about the second half of the season, a lot of talk about the Carabao Cup, because obviously we're into the semi-final. You can almost touch the trophy. How confident are you feeling in that competition? Because obviously you'd like to think that, if results go typically, it'll be us against Newcastle in that final, you'd think. So how are you feeling going into that? I
had as a side bet that United would have 2 trophies this year in the top 4. So I stand by it.
If we get that, can I have the lottery ticket numbers as well, please? Because that's a shame that. But are you confident then about that Carabao Cup, I'm guessing?
I'm actually not just confident about that. I actually fancy our chances in the FA Cup, and I think if we can get past Barcelona, I think that's the sticking plaster for us. I think that, the Europa might be on, because the team it just looks like it's a fearless outfit, and they'll just keep going. They've got what it takes now to grind a result out. Yeah,
and a lot of people are like, Carabao Cup is a Mickey Mouse Cup, but for me, it's not what cup it is. It's about winning the cup, isn't it? It's about getting.
Alex Ferguson always said, when you start a season, the aim of any big club is to win silverware.
Yeah,
and it's never changed for me. As I say, they've got a chance. I mean, if we can take a point, I think we'll draw against City. So I'll get my prediction in. I think we'll draw against City. I think we'll beat Arsenal, and I think we'll beat Leeds.
You know what? So you're going for a draw against City? What kind of scoreline are you going for?
I actually think it might be a 2-2.
So an entertaining game, nonetheless. And
because I think
against City, considering the first game we had against them, it wouldn't be necessarily a bad result, would it? Let's be honest. But I think the mindset that we're in at the minute is we can take them, we can get to them. But when City lost against Southampton, I'll be honest, you kind of fear the worst, because you think they're going to come back with a vengeance.
Well, it was a second string team, but
yeah, of course.
I mean, as I say, the guy, I posted that thing on my Twitter thing about the City supporter last night on Talk, blaming the wind. They were blaming the rain and the wind.
Klopp all over again, isn't it? But the second half of the season goes as we're rounding off, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I always say this, but we could talk for hours. But realistically, how do you see the season ending for United then?
I still maintain we'll get top 4, but I think we're going to get top 4 based on the fact that our run-in is better than a lot of the others, because we play a lot of the big teams earlier in the second half of the season. So our run-in is easier.
Yeah. So you're thinking 4 and 2 trophies, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm definitely I can see us getting 2 trophies. I tell you something, if we beat City and we roll over Arsenal,
Be interesting end of the season.
there
That
will be plenty of United fans thinking this title.
yeah. And you know what? The way that it is at the top of the table as well, realistically, like we should have that mindset. We've already beaten Arsenal. City are proven over the last few weeks that they're not impossible. And that's why I think
even taking City out the equation,
yeah.
even taking them out of the equation, if we roll over Arsenal, Arsenal have then even if Arsenal still top, Arsenal still got to play City twice.
Yeah, true, and that's going to be a massive.
Plus, they've got them in the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's true. And again, it's about keeping certain players fit, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal,
so I think.
Imagine if Haaland gets an injury for City, like all can change, can't it? From week to week, it can change. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But Curlers, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed. I promise I'll do these more regularly because I know I kind of slapped for a while, didn't I? But I promise I'll do them more regular.
That's okay. I'll hold you to it. Right, okay, take care. I'll see you later.
Take care. See ya. And there's obviously other things I want to talk about. Joe Felix, who was linked to United quite a lot, is now at Chelsea. I believe he's starting tonight. Obviously, you guys can correct me on that, but I believe I've seen on Twitter he's starting tonight. So I'm going to ask, and I've got Brush coming up next. And Brush, that is going to be my first question to you. Brush, how you doing?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. How's your start to the new year been?
You know what? It's been great. I mean, tiring, not going to lie, being back at work. I feel like I relaxed on Christmas a lot, and it's been a shock going back. But it's not been too bad. United are winning, so of course I'm happy about that. How about you? And Happy New Year to yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's an exciting time, isn't it? I think all United fans have just got big, cheesy grins on our faces at the moment.
It's right.
It's been a while since we've had anything positive to think about, and I think that's what it is now, isn't it? Like I don't really fear going into any match now.
Yeah.
I feel not confidence in that we can win everything, but just I just have faith in the manager to get it right.
Yeah. And I think that's the feeling that we haven't had for a while, isn't it? That belief going into games, that looking forward to games. Like, so how long have we been? Oh, I'm dreading it.
Absolutely. And just look at the amount of players that we writ off or thought weren't good enough that this manager has managed to revive. Yeah. Even Wan-Bissaka, I mean, even last month, Soph, in that friendly against Cadiz during the World Cup, I thought he looked terrible and I wasn't sure who was going to come in even to loan him. And look at the revival. So it just goes to show. So it's a testament to him. As well as to the players who clearly believe in him and his philosophy. Great example of that was the disciplinary action for Rashi, and then having the faith to bring him on, and then brimming with confidence at the moment, isn't he?
Rashford, the way he responded as well, like you can't fault that. That's what you want to see from your players, isn't it? But I mentioned him just, Joe Felix. Obviously, I'm going to touch on in a second because we are in the transfer window. He was a name that was linked to us and Arsenal quite a lot. Money was ridiculous, if we're honest, for a role. He's no doubt a good prospect and a good player, but coming into that Chelsea team, like, what's your thoughts on that move? Firstly, like for me, Chelsea just from anybody.
It's a weird one, isn't it, mate? Because I'll tell you what, like you say, the talent's definitely there. Yeah. The finances, it just didn't make sense to me. 9.68 million for half a season's loan, with no option to buy.
Yeah.
And I also hear that he signed an extension at Atletico. So this feels like a Ross and Rachel on a break situation between him and Simeone.
So are they basically saying Simeone's gone at the end of the season, so that means Felix can come back?
I think perhaps, I think they just felt like they needed some kind of break because he's been there for 12 years now.
Yeah.
So hearing rumours that he might depart, and even if he doesn't, I think they just need a little break. I think. So I fully expect him to return in the summer.
Like the ones when it's like a relationship and you say to your partner, "Oh, I think we need a break." Like, really,
Go reassess the situation, come back with a newfound perspective, maybe.
Yeah, it's a weird one, and I just don't know if he's the kind of player that they realistically need right now. They seem to have no real midfield other than Kovacic.
No, because I was thinking, how does him and Kai Havertz fit into the same team? I guess they'd have to play him in like a 4-3-3, and he would have to be on the left. Yeah, Sterling the other side on the right, and Kai down the middle.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one. I thought it was Chelsea. Anytime a big name seems to become available, they always seem to end up at Chelsea, and it very rarely works out. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I mean, we've seen this before as well at Chelsea. So there's every chance that it could go the same way as the likes of Higuain, Quaresma, Pato.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There's been a long list. Like in the stream, I think, definitely. But let's get back to United anyway. Obviously, you mentioned the big smile on our faces. We're now in the semi-final of the World Cup with 3 other teams who realistically, 3 other teams that realistically, whoever we face, we should feel confident about. We've got Forest, obviously, in the semi. I'll be honest, when I was watching that yesterday, obviously my dad's a big Wolves fan, so I probably should have been rooting for his team, but I wasn't, because I was thinking, I just know if Wolves go through, I guarantee we will draw them, and I just don't want to face them again.
Yeah,
we would have, so I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, are you confident that we can get our first
on paper, this is very winnable now, so we need to start taking it seriously. My only concern is the fixture list and how thick and fast the games are coming. Like over the next week, we've got like 3 games. And at the moment, I don't think it's been confirmed, but I've seen the Nottingham Forest first leg as the 24th, which is like 2 days after the Arsenal game.
Yeah, the last full week in January, I think. So
yeah, so that's my only concern really. It's about the squad rotation and keeping everyone fit, and hoping we don't mess up in that regard. But on paper, we should be taking this seriously now. This is our first real chance to get some silverware.
And to be fair, Ten Hag structures that guy, doesn't he? He doesn't care what the competition is. He just wants to win. And that doesn't rotate. He takes everything really, really seriously. And as a fan, it's amazing. But like you say, when it gets business end of the season and you don't want those injuries to those key players.
Exactly, yeah. You have to pick and choose, don't you? So that's my only concern. And like Carlo said as well, the squad is quite thin. And obviously with the Glazer ownership, you're not really too confident on anyone else coming in.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, shout out to some people. Hello to Camille. I hope you're doing good. And then Connor said, I think they're talking about Spurs in the chat. Oh, George said we're going to fit Mason Mount in there as well with Joe Felix as well. That's another player that we didn't mention in that Chelsea team. There's so many players who have to be crammed in. But so far this season, we've had a lot of players who have already signed from Ten Hag, and we've just signed another one in Weghorst. Like, what's your thoughts on that signing?
So this one's quite funny, actually. So a few weeks ago, me and Maisie did a stream looking at the January transfer window, and we shortlisted 5 strikers each that we would like. And we went through like a whole list of, long-term targets, short-term targets, people whose contracts are running out, who's realistic, none of which included Weghorst.
I'm not surprised.
I don't have too much of an issue with it. Like it's who the manager wants, it's who he's identified, so that's brilliant. And he does offer us something different, obviously, stature-wise, proper 9 and that. The only concern I did have really was that trust United to make simple things complicated. Only we could go for a player who was already on loan.
Yeah. And he was already saying goodbye before anything really came out.
Yeah, so I had a feeling this was going to drag on to like later on in the window. So I'm glad that it was all sorted out this morning by the time I woke up.
And you can understand from his perspective, he doesn't want to miss that opportunity. Like he's 30, so
yeah, absolutely not. It's a huge opportunity for him. But then I remember a couple of days ago, there was all kinds of rumors coming out saying, "Oh, he's ready to pay out of his own pocket," and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of ridiculous."
I saw that as well. I was thinking if things got that bad that we would need players to pay them.
Yeah. Regarding his goal scoring and that, I think we have to keep in mind he was playing at Burnley, so I wouldn't look too much into that. So we're gonna hopefully create more chances for him.
Okay, yeah, they didn't really create many chances.
Yeah, because his goal scoring record everywhere else hasn't been so bad. But again, I think he offers more than just goals, so it'll be one of those ones. And we just need bodies, don't we? So
definitely,
that's what it is.
City at the weekend coming up. We're in a better place than we were last time. What are your thoughts going into that? Obviously,
I wouldn't dare try and predict what's going to happen. The only thing I will say is I expect a much better performance than last time.
Yeah.
The last time out.
Really? Come on,
Yeah, listen, the last time out, 90 seconds into it, I just had my head in my hands. I was like, we're going to concede. It's terrible. It was like pinball. The way they were shooting at De Gea. Yeah. But as the season goes on, like my expectations have been adjusted accordingly. So at the start of the season, if you remember, I didn't even want to call where we would finish in the league. I just said, listen, all I want is to see certain improvements in the team and see an establishment of a system and a style and a first team 11 that we can pick out. And I feel that we can do that now. And the position we find ourselves in, anything below 4th would be a disappointment.
100%, especially with the form that we're in right now, definitely. So what's your score prediction then, Bruce, before I let it go?
I was trying to dodge that one, so
that's everyone else. I'm going to put you on the spot. Come on.
I was trying to dodge that like Neo in the Matrix with the bullets.
I think that,
you know what? as confident as I feel that that bloody cyborg, he's there, isn't he? He could cause us problems. That's the thing. Even if they're terrible, it only takes a 10-minute window for him to do what he does.
Got in though. It's all good.
Well, yeah. It was good to see him back. Him and Varane haven't played together though since we've come back, have they? So
True.
yeah.
So
that I don't know if it's going to come a bit too early. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 to us, obviously.
Just checking. Brush, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, take care, mate. Catch you next time.
Take care. Cheers.
Bye.
And big up to Ethan as well. Hello to Ethan, mate. I hope you're doing good. I'm going to get straight into the next one because obviously I want to know if people want to get off for the Chelsea game, so I don't want to interrupt anyone watching their football or anything like that. So, Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm good, Soph. How are you? It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. I'm doing very well, thank you. And we're smiling. We're United fans. And we're smiling.
Yeah.
Rarity. What do you want to talk about this evening?
We move in silence, pretty much. We move in silence. At the moment, it's been, you know what? I didn't expect us to be where we are right now. I thought it's a process. It's a slow process. I thought we'd be like slowly getting there, but I didn't expect it to be this quick. Like we're not nearly there, but what I mean is Ten Hag has done a better job than we all expected. Yeah. Let's be honest. I thought that this season they're always saying, oh, it's a transition season. I mean, the teams around us are not doing well at all. Liverpool, Chelsea, they've been slow. They've not done well this year. We just took advantage of that and just took their place. Let's be real. But I do echo what Curler said. It is the aim of an elite sport is to win, and I am 100% on for the Carabao Cup. I've always been on for trophies. I've always wanted to see my team lift some trophies. It's been a while. It's been 5 years. I think the longest drought in the club's history.
Sorry, I just said that meme in my head from Titanic when she's been like, it's been like 180 years or whatever she's saying.
It's been 100 years.
That's all I had in my head when you said that then, but it feels that long, doesn't it? It seems like
it's been a while. We need to lift something. I mean,
yeah.
Are you
feeling confident going into that Carabao Cup then?
Nothing is ever over until the final whistle of the second leg of the semi-finals. I just need to clarify to every single Man United fan out there. I'm seeing posts saying, "Oh, we're going to Wembley." Let's relax a little bit. It's nothing. Nothing's over till it's over. Let's take
the City yesterday. Like that's where you get punished.
Let's not get giddy about when the semi-finals we're facing Nottingham Forest. I know Dean Henderson cannot play against us, but still, it's a semi-final. It's a cup game. Different momentum. Different mentality. Like I said, I predicted Southampton to win yesterday.
Yeah.
People will find it hard to believe, but I did, because it's a different mentality. It's a different cup game. You're out of the league. You're out of a place where you're not doing well. You're in a competition where you want it more than the other team. Southampton will want it more than Man City, and let's be real, they did. Southampton needed it more. They wanted it more than Man City. Man City were poor. I didn't watch the game, but I heard they were very poor.
Yeah, to be fair, Southampton were on it from the off. They were really unsettling. Obviously, it was a rotating team. So it's a rotating team. Yeah, so we have to obviously give them credit for that. But
always got to beat what's in front of you. You always have to beat what's in front of you. No matter who the opponent is, you always have to go for it. And I think this year the Carabao Cup is a must for us now. It's a must because we're in the semi-finals, and we got dumped out by Man City 2 years running. So we have to take this seriously now and win this cup. The cup that Mourinho took seriously, the cup that Sir Alex Ferguson took seriously. We have to win these trophies. It's a part of our DNA. It's a part of United's history, the DNA of this football club, to win trophies, to be at the top.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no problem.
Maisie's in the chat, guys. Make sure you go and subscribe to Devils United.
Big up, Maisie.
Hope you're doing well, Maisie. And big up to Nat as well. Hope you're good. And I saw that Henley was in the chat somewhere. Hello to Henley as well. Sorry about that. I've been trying to get as many names.
Big up the chat. Love always.
Everyone for supporting. Guys, hit the like on the video as well. I'd appreciate that. Amazing.
Smash the like button.
Definitely. But I think you're right. We can't be complacent. We can't write anyone off. We need to go into it with the mindset that every game, anybody can beat anybody anybody can beat anybody on their day, and it happens week out in the Premier. It's exactly the same in the Cup. Not even more so in the Cup, because there's more of an incentive there. Obviously, the trophy at the end of it, especially in a semi-final.
It's the magic of the cup. You always you never know what you expect. Wigan won the FA Cup in the last minute. So we can never write anyone off. No one is a clear favorite. It's always 50-50.
Yeah, it is, and that's the joy of it, but it's also the horror of it as well. So
Sorry, what
yeah,
were you gonna ask me?
I was going to ask you, Weghorst. I saw you
Weghorst.
shaking your head when I was on about Giroud earlier and stuff and whatnot.
I don't like Giroud. I mean,
Giroud
after what
me.
the game I watched,
where
I watched the Milan game yesterday. I was pissed.
I think
everyone knows I'm a Milan fan outside of United. Like I like Milan. Milan are my second. Like if you look outside of the Premier League, I watch AC Milan and I was upset at the missed chances that Giroud made yesterday and Leao and everyone. But it's a blip, I hope. But Weghorst, at 50-50, you know, it's not the sign that I had on the top of my list. I mean, we kind of missed out on João Felix, obviously, who's starting tonight for Chelsea, already straight in 30 hours.
Sign that we need right now. I think I'm gonna throw that out there. Good player.
If you want a natural number 9, I think Weghorst is the man to go for. But obviously there's some better options out there. I think Man United should not have gone for. I mean, Weghorst is fine. Obviously, a loan deal is the only thing we can afford right now. Apparently, we don't have enough money to afford any permanent signings. But Weghorst isn't bad. I hope it's not a long term. I hope it's not a long term option we have, because in the summer, if we do get the takeover by the new ownership, hopefully we'll have enough funds and enough resources to go and get a proper striker, proper bench. We need to fix this squad a little bit. Need to upgrade on the bench. I think us and Arsenal are similar in a way that our starting 11 is so clear of our bench. Yeah. It's miles ahead. Arsenal's bench, though, when I look at Arsenal's bench is not good. Arsenal's starting 11 is miles above their starting. Arsenal's bench is miles below their starting 11. Our bench is miles below our starting 11. We had to bring off Casemiro, Rashford, and who was Eriksen to kill the game off against Charlton. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. You always need good reinforcements off the bench. You always need some firepower someone to come off the bench and make a difference, make an impact. I think we need to use Pellistri a bit more. Pellistri, I feel like he needs to go out on loan, or we use him more, because I feel bad. The kid deserves a chance. I watched him when he came to Thailand. Like he played a few minutes here and there. He looks a good footballer. He looks like a good player. I think we could utilize him a lot, and
personally,
obviously,
I would him in over Elanga. Like,
same.
Respect to Elanga, but a loan for Elanga, I don't think would be a bad
thing. For me, I'm not really an Elanga fan. I don't think Elanga is the guy you want to be coming off the bench. Elanga doesn't look like he has the confidence. He has the capability to change the game for us. I mean, obviously, he did start against Liverpool and kind of did play well in that, but then after that, he's not been that good. I think Elanga should go out on loan, or I think just say goodbye. I think Elanga is just not for me. I don't know how to say anything too early, but Elanga is not good enough for Man United for me. I think we can do better. I think Amad Diallo, you know how he's been killing it at Sunderland. I know it's only like League One championship, but still you've got to impress yourself out on loan. And if you come back and with the form that you're in right now, I would personally use Amad Diallo off the bench and Facundo Pellistri. The guys we signed, we're not utilizing them properly. This is exactly the problem. We sometimes don't see what's in front of us. Yeah. Man United don't see what's in front of them. We have two good young starlets there that we could absolutely utilize. And I think now is the time to use the bench as much as possible, because the amount of games that we have coming up, we've got. And the way they just slapped the Palace game in between the Arsenal and Man City is a disgrace. And they apologized, but they didn't do anything about it. I don't know what the apology was even for. Yeah. The way they just slapped the Palace away game in midweek, I'm sorry. That's just not fair for us. But to be honest with you, we have to beat them. We have to just play our game. The fact that we have Reading as well, Reading in the cup. We should. That's the game that we have to rotate as much as possible. I know I want to progress. I want to beat Reading. I want to move on in the cup. Yeah. Obviously, target the domestic cups this year with the team that we have. We should be taking every single game seriously, and Carabao Cup, obviously, that's the main priority at the moment. And obviously, we have to qualify for the Champions League. People talking about the league title race. I think it's way too early to even talk about a title race. Way too early to even talk about a title race or even being in contention for a league title. We're 9 points off the top, yes, but we've not been at the top this season at all. City have been at the top. That's why they can consider themselves in a title race. They've made it. They were going neck and neck with Arsenal at one point, but now Arsenal slowly pulled away. But City is maybe catching up. We'll see. But we still need to take every single game seriously. That this league at the moment, if we come out of these next three games, say we don't lose a game, we win one or draw two, or we win two, draw one, something like that.
Yeah,
I would say there's a chance that we could possibly push, but I think it's way too early to be talking about a title. I think our fans are a little bit getting too overexcited about a title race at this point.
Yeah, you take one game at a time. Like you take one
game at a time. Always a game, one game at a time.
Because, like we've already said, from one game to the next, it can severely change.
Move in silence, and I think
this next couple of games, I was going to say, is crucial for me on where we are this season. Like if we can put this run against top teams, because it's all good saying, "Oh, we beat the likes of Forest."
Next three games.
Yeah, they're huge. But we're going to start with the first one, Akevin. And you know what is your prediction for that? How are you feeling going into it?
The way City have been playing recently has not been well, but obviously it's a derby. The form goes out of the window. Anyone can turn up. It's a Manchester derby. You could be 20th. You could be in the relegation zone, but you turn up for the derby. Anything could happen. It's a big game. It's a rivalry that, you know what? Sometimes you're up for these games, sometimes you're not. If you don't turn up, you get battered. Just like us in the first game. We got absolutely piped by City. But if you turn up in the second game, if we turn up this weekend, we're in front of our home crowd. We've got we're on good form. We have not lost a game since Brighton at home. Obviously, we've only lost one home game this season and drew one. But if we can continue this form going into the City game, I'm confident. But I'm not going to get too gassed. I'm not going to get too excited just because City lost to Southampton. It's a derby. Still, I'm nervous. It's a game that, you know what, City could be fired. City could be really fired up. The way they've been playing has not been good. But they could use that. They could use that to boost their momentum. Yeah, they could absolutely come and put on a show. We could also put on a show. It depends who's on top of their game. If the best team on the weekend hopefully can win.
Hand on heart. What's your score?
Hand on heart. 2-1 Man United. I hope.
People are saying 2-1.
I hope 2-1 Man United. I know that our defensive record has been pretty good over the course again. But you're up against. Come on, we're up against Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne. They're no mugs. No mugs. We're up against top quality footballers, like top class players. Like I can actually that can actually destroy you in a heartbeat. So we've got to be up for the game. We have the defense has to be locked in. We don't. I don't think we need to change our game. The sit back counter attack. I don't think we should do that. We should be playing how we should be playing. We should not revert our system just because of the Man City game. I know, yes, City's defense is vulnerable, George, but at the same time, ours can be as well. We've seen it. At times this season, ours can be vulnerable as well. We can concede goals out of nowhere. But I just want to point out one thing. I saw James on DR Sports. You know James on DR Sports. Yeah. I saw him say, you know what he said was spot on. But the thing he said about Ten Hag saying we might lose this game. Ten Hag will never say that to his players. I will tell you that Ten Hag will never say that to his players. We might lose this game. Ten Hag does not have that type of mentality. We're not going to be. I know Arsenal last season. You know, the way they went toe to toe with Man City in the second game. I know they got battered the first game, but they came back second game. They put on a show for their fans. They said, "Okay, here's the direction that we're going, Arteta." Yeah. But Man United will not say to themselves that we might lose this game. We cannot. That's not the mentality. Man United.
We've got to have belief going into it, and
we have to believe. We cannot let our heads drop in these next three games. It's the most vital game. It's the most important games, and it'll tell us where we are, where we're going, in which direction. It is the three most important league games of the season. I would not say the most important games, obviously, because there's other important games coming up. Obviously, like the Carabao Cup semi-finals and the FA Cup. I hope FA Cup semi-finals. I hope we make it there. We'll see. But Europa League is. I'm worried. I'm worried about the Europa League. The only thing is because we're playing against a Barcelona team that has depth, quality off the bench, and that's the only thing that they have over us at the moment. They have the depth, they have the style of play, everything. We're in a process, but we're getting better. Man United need to. I will not be surprised if we get knocked out of the Europa League. I will be upset, but at the same time, it lessened the amount of games will be less. I hope at the moment we're doing well because without Europa League disturbance, but at the same time we have to go for every trophy possible, regardless. Fight until the final whistle. That's what I always want to see from my football club. From the first to the last. The last whistle of the season is what I want to see the effort. We have to. We must finish in the top 4 this year with the way we're going as well.
Yeah,
like I said,
it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate
no problem at all.
More callers that I'm going to get on, so I'm going to hop onto them. But as always,
big up.
We could talk for hours, but thank you so much, Aikman. Hopefully, I'll get you on again.
Get Sophie to 20k subscribers or something. How many subscribers are you on right now?
15.2. 15. I believe. Yeah, guys, please
get us to 20k. Come on.
Thank you, Aikman. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Doing better than that. Come on. Big up, Soph. See you.
See you. Aikman, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And some interesting points, obviously, regarding the fixtures that we've got coming up. And yeah, we need to obviously rotate as much as we can, but all, at the same time, it is a risk. And Ten Hag doesn't like to rotate too much. He likes that consistent team, doesn't he? He likes to play the strong 11 because he wants to win everything. Every game is serious. Next up, I've got Mohammed. Mohammed, how are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for waiting as well. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well.
You know what? We're smiling and we haven't even said anything yet. It's just how we are.
Yeah, of course. It's good days for United so far this season.
Yeah, so how are you feeling with Ten Hag's progress so far?
Well, he's a proper coach. He's proved that already. He showed character, especially like he didn't want Ronaldo. He was clear with that.
Yeah.
Ronaldo went out. And I think he helped the team a lot.
Definitely.
To get back to basics.
Yeah, and obviously, I apologise if you're getting a bit of an echo. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit and see if that helps at all. But we're in a Carabao Cup semi-final. We've got City coming up at the weekend. A lot of fixtures coming up. Where realistically do you think we'll finish up this season? Like, do you think we'll have any trophies? And what position in the league?
Well, obviously it's a Premier League. No one can predict that. But I mean, the next 3 games will show a lot. If we pick up 7 points out of the 9, I think we're serious title contenders. We are.
Yeah.
I don't like super optimistic, but I mean, look at the fixtures. If we finish the next 3 games, we've played City twice, Arsenal twice, which are the title contenders. So if we pick up 7 points out of the 9, I think we're serious this season. We are. Yeah.
We're serious.
Yeah.
So obviously, City.
Sorry.
Confident are you going in that game? We're at home as well.
Yeah. It helps a lot. It helps a lot to play at home at Old Trafford. So I think we'll be really shocked after tomorrow. I think it will be like 3-0. I know it might sound like super crazy, but I really do believe in Erik Ten Hag. He's got his own philosophy, and I think he's learned the lesson from the previous game against Guardiola. Come on, it was shambles, the 6-3. Yeah, I didn't feel good at that point.
Yeah, we won't talk about that too much. We'll focus on the positives.
Yeah. So I think people will not be putting their money on us on Saturday, but you know, it's football, it's the Premier League, and we're gonna be sending like a legit message to Man City. Your time's up.
You know what? Even the goosebumps now. I hope you're right, Mohammed. I hope you're right. Obviously, Weghorst maybe signed in time for that game. Probably won't start, but we'll probably feature. What's your thoughts on him? Do you think he'll give us something different?
Definitely. Like, I think Weghorst won't be playing in big games. That's what I believe. He'll be giving Erik Ten Hag more solutions inside the box, especially when playing against lower teams. because they sit back in defense, 10, 9 players inside the box. You need a big player inside the box. And we didn't have that. Anthony Martial, I don't think is good. Martial has been given a lot of chances. I know he's really talented and everything, but it doesn't work inside the Premier League. You should work a lot. You should make runs inside the Premier League. And Martial doesn't do that at all. Verkost, I think he will do a really good job, especially we only paid 3 million for that. It's cheap. I think it's a very good deal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. A lot of people are writing off. I'll back my manager. I'm not doing that. So I'm excited to see how it transpires. I hope that it works out for him and obviously work out for Ten Hag as well. I have got a slight echo issue, so I am going to ask you, Mohammed, to give me you said 3-0, but I want to know who you think's scoring in that City game at the weekend.
I'll go for Bruno. Brace for Bruno and a goal for Rashford. 2 for Bruno, 1 for Rashford.
That would be nice. And who's
big players will show up in big games.
True. Who's been your standout this season?
Sorry?
Who's been your standout player this season?
Garnacho.
It's been a surprise package, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry for Anthony. I'm really sorry for that because Garnacho came in. He showed really quality. He's playing really good. And that will put more pressure on Anthony because his price was really high. His price is 100 million. I know it's not his fault, but it will put pressure on him. So hopefully he will try and sneak in the Premier League and really learn how to play inside the Premier League because it's totally different from other leagues. So yeah, Garnacho was he is my favorite player right now. By far.
Hopefully he signs that contract and we can keep hold of him because he's a special talent for sure. And he's a player that gets you excited. Definitely.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait for them to announce that. I think they are in direct talks because I got some people inside. I'm asking them on a daily basis, are they talking with Alejandro Garnacho to sign the new contract or anything? And yeah, they are in serious talks right now, and hopefully they will announce that really soon, really soon.
Fingers crossed. Mohammed, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. Sorry it's been a quick one. Try and get people in just before, obviously, because now the Chelsea game is on. And I don't want to overlap that. Hopefully we'll get you on as well. And at the same time, next week I'll be doing the same show. So hopefully you can come and join us again.
3-0, definitely you're going to put me on next time.
Lovely. Yeah, if show be cancelled if we get battered again. I'm joking. We'll still be here. You take care and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Next up, I'm going to get straight into it. We have got the regular in Show. Show, how are you doing?
Hey Sophie, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yeah, it's got to be good, haven't we? We've got to be good. Life's good at the minute. Obviously, United are making strides, I would say. Not there yet, but we are making strides, and I think we've got to take the positives while we've got them, because it's been a while, hasn't it? Weghorst's coming in as well. Obviously, City coming up at the weekend. Where's your headspace at the minute in terms of us? Are you feeling confident on us getting that top 4?
Yeah, I think if you compare us, right, compared to a year ago, we weren't even looking forward to games, watching them at the weekend. Whereas I think the mentality, for example, if this was us, playing City this weekend last year, I think we'd already know what's coming, right? There'd be almost no hope going into the match. I think this is very different this time. I think, weirdly, the gap between us and City in the table is so much smaller than I thought it would be. At this time of the season, it's actually mad. I mean, I don't want to think too far ahead, but someone was saying, if we beat City, then win our game in hand against Palace, we go above them, which is crazy to at the halfway stage, right?
Where we started, obviously losing those games.
Exactly. And and I think even when they beat us 6-3, they probably went 10 points clear of us, probably. So yeah, it's mad. I think the thing is, I mean, normally City in recent years have gone into the game against us as almost they almost know they're going to win. I think the game's a lot more even. No, I wouldn't say even. I still think even though it's at Old Trafford, I don't want to say it, but City are favourites. They still are. We have to admit it. But I think, I watched their game yesterday, and I've watched them this season quite a lot, and I think they've been a very up and down side. It's really normally in recent in the last 4 or 5 years with Guardiola, every game City you kind of know this is what you're going to get. They're going to just pummel you. They're going to keep the ball and they're going to stop your transitions, right? Yesterday, I saw Southampton break through them with ease, and Southampton, they're not even a good attacking side. That's the weird thing. So I think with the way we've been in, I think we're probably right now in the league the best side in transition, I would say.
Casemiro's got a lot of that, hasn't he?
Casemiro's a big. I think Bruno's kind of the big link in that. Really, his passes right, and obviously Rashford runs in behind, mainly with the form that he's in. So I think we can get at them at Saturday. I mean, look, I'll be shocked if it's as bad as it was earlier this season. I don't see it being that bad. I'll be shocked if it's that kind of result. I don't think it will be that. I'm really. The thing is, I kind of know what lineup Ten Hag is going to go with. It'd be interesting to see what Pep goes with because he's been changing his lineups a lot. Like, I mean, yesterday Walker played centre back, Aki played left back.
Walker had a mare, by the way. Like he got off the ball.
But of course, because he's never played centre back in the two, right? That's the first time he's ever done this. So it's a bit weird from Pep recently. I think he's been chopping and changing the defense a lot recently, and I don't think it's done City any good. And someone was saying their away form recently has been quite poor, actually. So I think, I mean, look, this week I think is going to define our league season. City, Palace, Arsenal. I imagine us resting a lot of players against Palace. I think we just have to take that risk and hope that our fringe players kind of help us against Palace. I actually think Weghorst will start against Palace. That's what I think.
He might feature against City depending on obviously how the game goes. I think he could come on.
I think he'll definitely be on the bench. He'll definitely be on the bench against City, 100%. And whatever the score is, he's going to come on.
To announce him, is that right?
Yeah, we have to register him by noon tomorrow.
Yeah. I thought so.
But I think we will though.
Landed no Manchester, so hopefully we can get that over the line and sorted. We seem a bit more efficient since Ten Hag has come in, so hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Weghorst signing, when I first saw it, it was kind of, you know, when you like, it's a current burn, it's a bit embarrassing. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, look, Ten Hag has obviously identified. I mean, I would love to see our aerial stats, but I think we must be near the bottom in terms of aerial goals scored in the league. I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't think we've scored a header from a set piece this season.
Casemiro, Chelsea?
That was from a set piece, though.
And then I'm trying to think, Rashford's wasn't from a set piece, was it?
No.
I can't remember any headers after. I'm trying to think.
That's what I mean. From a corner or a free kick, we haven't scored a header.
And we had that horrible season, didn't we, where we just didn't score from
exactly. So this has been a problem we've had for years in that set piece. Like there's been for so long now, set pieces and free kicks. I kind of look at them. I'm like, oh, nothing's going to happen. I mean, it's a bit better this season because I feel like we have worked on them a bit more. Like Shaw's deliveries have been a bit better, a lot better actually. Eriksen's deliveries. So I think you know that's obviously something Ten Hag has identified, right? And he's obviously looked at Weghorst, and people just think, oh, so if Weghorst is there, we're just going to cross the ball to him constantly. But just Weghorst being in the team, right, is going to attract more players to him and leave other players free. So it already, like someone like Varane, for example, who in my opinion should be much more of an aerial threat than he is from set pieces. It might benefit him. He might get more space. Casemiro might get more space in the box, or even like Rashford, for example. So I think the Weghorst sign, I kind of get, like, I think for once now we're kind of seeing like some thinking going behind the signings, whereas I think
none of his signings have flopped, have they? None of his signings have flopped, so that's the way.
Yeah, I think the only one that's questionable, again, the price tag is unfortunate, but like me personally, the jury's out on Anthony. I just think like his playing style, I don't think it's
too early to say he's flopped.
Yeah. I mean, no, 100%. I wouldn't call him a flop. It's mad to call him a flop because he's not even played 20 games yet for United, right? I just think the way he's playing, I think it's not beneficial to the team right now. And I don't know if he's being specifically told to play like that, where it's, you know, it's always cut inside, you know, like there was a couple of counterattacks I remember against Charlton where he could have, you know, he runs up to like, it's like when the space is there, he'll eat up the yards. And as soon as the defender approaches him, doesn't show him the inside, he's just like, oh crap, what do I do now? And it's like, and the issue is like, now it's got to a point where defenders actually against him, right, are leaving so much of the outside of the pitch. They're just leaving like 10 yards outside because they know he's not going to use it.
Do you think that when Delos's back, do you think that maybe we can?
It will, it will help. But also, I do think it does also put a lot of pressure on the fullback, though. I think constantly go up and down. You know what I mean? Like it's different if like as much as Dalot has improved in that on that part of his game, he's not like if you had like a right-footed version of Alphonso Davies, for example, then Anthony's playing style is no problem because someone like Alphonso Davies, like stamina for days, like gonna go up and down, no problem, right?
Yeah.
Or if we had like someone like Evra back in there, something like that, right? But I do think Anthony, it is a bit, I think it is a bit of an issue at the moment. Like me personally, I would try Garnacho on the right just because Garnacho is very two-footed. I don't think there's an issue with him. I thought Pellistri was a real breath of fresh air yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It was.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Pellistri was a breath of fresh air. And I think even in that 10-minute, I want to see Pellistri on the bench Saturday ahead of Elanga. I think he should be. I think if you're like City, you're more worried about Pellistri coming on than Elanga.
Yeah.
Especially because Elanga's had like tons of appearances this season, and I don't even has Elanga even scored a goal or assisted a goal this season?
Like he works hard and stuff, but he's just not. He's not. You want the theory, like you say. You don't want to fear him, and that's, you want someone who you can bring on who's going to bring horror to them.
His attitude spot on, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, I think I saw someone tweet. I can't remember who tweeted them. I feel sorry for him. Like, where he was overplayed last season. That was the issue because also Randy
sense of like. I'm not saying total because he's not like that. He's like his attitude spot on, but like he almost paints like the wrong light. Like, oh, you can play in this team. Realistically, can he on a regular basis? He shouldn't.
The problem was Randy came in right last season, and players just didn't want to play for him, right?
Yeah.
And Elanga was one of the few that actually showed a bit of enthusiasm and was motivated, and that's why he played all the time. Like I think even Randy probably even knew himself that Elanga wasn't of the quality. But he's the only one that actually would bother when he's playing. So it was kind of starting game after game last season, even though we knew last season he wasn't of the standard. Well, there you go. You know what I mean? And this season he's been getting chances because obviously we've had to rotate, and he's just. I mean, look, Ten Hag's obviously identified it. He knows, like, Elanga's not of the standard, but. I'm kind of seeing this Pellistri loan report. I'll be really disappointed if Pellistri went out on loan for the rest of the season ahead of Elanga. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, for me, if Pellistri is not going to play at all and he's not even going to make the bench for us, then put him on loan. But obviously, the preferred thing is no. We want to see him playing some minutes. Put him on the bench and put him on, and a bit like we did with Garnacho when he first came out of it. You know what I mean? Like put him on the bench, bring him on every now and again. Like
plus, we're not blessed with right-sided options.
No,
let's be real. And he's playing on the right side and he's coming on, and like he's the only right-sided winger we have who can take players on the outside. He did it. Like he probably did more take-ons on the outside with Anthony and Sancho combined playing on that side this season, and probably Elanga. Chuck Elanga in there as well in the 10-minute cameo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think in that cameo, and also he showed that his final ball is good because of the assist he did for Rashford, right? That composure. So, albeit is against Charlton, I get it, but I think he's definitely got to be a bench option from now on, Pellistri.
Hopefully, he's seen the light with him and thought, you know what, he was Charlton, but he showed real flashes of quality, and hopefully backs him. But I'm going to quickly ask you a question before I round off because I've got three other people waiting, and I'm going to blast through you guys. I'm not going to.
No, of course. I'm going to do
it as quick as I can because I know the game is on. I've got it here just to keep you guys updated with the score. Felix looks sharp, by the way. He's been hacked down 2 or 3 times already. I'm just going to say that. But City, hand on heart, what do you think the score's going to be?
I think we'll beat them 3-1.
You know what? Nobody's gone for a loss, and I like it. So, who's going to score, in your opinion?
Rashford's going to continue the goal scoring form. He's unstoppable right now. I'm going to go Rashford. I actually think Martial might get a goal, you know. I'm going to go Rashford, Martial, and then who's the last one?
Casemiro.
You know, I'll go Rashford and I'll go Martial twice.
Like it. And that would be nice.
Martial has an excellent record against City.
And that would do his confidence wonders as well. I think he's just missing that goal at the minute, isn't he? And obviously Rashford can't rely on him too heavily. So
one thing I will say about the City game, I want Fred to start instead of Eriksen.
Yeah. just to be a bit of a ratter in there and just to unsettle their midfield and don't let them dictate. I get that, and I think
he's been awesome since the Christmas break. I don't know what Ten Hag's done to Fred, but he's been unbelievable.
He has, 100%. And I wouldn't be against that, to be fair. McFred, never a fan of, but Fred and Casemiro, I can buy into.
Oh yeah. Never McFred. Not after. Oh my god, no.
Fred, no, we're not doing that.
No.
Thank you, Soph, for coming on. As always, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully, I'll get you on again in the next calling show next
week. I appreciate it, Soph.
No, thank you. You take care. All right. See
bye.
ya. Bye. I'm going to mix. Well, actually, I'm going to get Acid on first because I know Acid, you've been waiting for a long, long time. So Acid, and he's also repping the Ladies in Red merch. I can see it there. How you doing? Love it. How are you?
All right, you?
I'm good, thank you. Happy New Year to you.
And to you.
Thank you. How are you feeling then about United at the minute?
I think there's more to come.
More to come?
I think we're in third gear.
I like it. I like the positivity. You're there eating your tea. So apologies for that. I know you've been waiting and I did see you in the car at one point, weren't you? But you say you think there's more to come. A lot of that obviously comes down to us keeping our key players fit as well, doesn't it? I am going to ask you about the new player Weghorst who's coming in. Of course, it wasn't one that we expected, but we've got to trust the manager, haven't we, on this one? We've got to back him.
I don't think it's from him. I just think this is the board. And it's
just a cheap option.
Yeah, as per usual.
Yeah, but he does know him, which is a good thing. He knows him, and I feel like that's got to help. And he's a player that, goal scoring wise, we won't comment on that too much because he's not obviously, you wouldn't say he's a prolific goal scorer or anything like that. But is that physical difference? How many times have we seen us whip a ball into the box and we haven't had really anyone to compete and just be a nuisance? He presses well as well. I just think he gives us a different option, if you like, going forward. Something that we haven't really had for a while, to be honest with you. So I think that in that sense, I'm kind of excited to see how Ten Hag can incorporate him into this system, whether it be from the bench or whether it be starting. I'm just hoping that he can make use of him, obviously, for the next 6 months until we hopefully get new owners and we get a proper 9 in. And I'm hoping that he can do a job for us. And it always helps the fact that he obviously was buzzing to come to United and he couldn't wait to get here.
To be honest, who wouldn't want to play for United? You know, it's the badge.
Yeah.
As for being a striker, I think he will offer something different, but we haven't really had that presence in the box since, say, Cavani.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time we had anyone in the box that could do the hold-up play and scoring and bringing other people in.
Yeah. We've already got a nickname for him from George here, Weggy. Being Dutch, Ten Hag clearly sees Weggy and what he does. So it's a loan and he feels it's a good option for now. Like I say, I'm going to back him. Good night to Layla, mate. No problem at all, mate. Thank you for coming onto the stream. Antonio said Freddie's a baller there. What's your thoughts going into, I know I've asked everyone this, but going into this game at the weekend against City, obviously it's the early kickoff on a Saturday, so it kind of a make or break your weekend, can't it? Like, how are you feeling going into this one?
I think that our performance will be very disjointed. I think pressure will get to the players like it did on the first time round this season. And I can see City winning 3-1. I know that goes against everything.
The first one.
But I'm being realistic. I think City will turn up and say, you know what, we got beat. We're not going to get humiliated twice in a row. And I think you saw the players on the first game when we lost 6-3. I think that scoreline flattered United massively. Their performance wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, it was shocking. And I think the occasion will get to the players again.
I hope it doesn't, but it is obviously a big step. Like City, I know they lost Southampton, but it was a second fiddle team. We can't really judge them too much on that. They're obviously chasing Arsenal at the minute. You wouldn't think they're going to drop many points between now and the end of the season. One of the games that you'd think they could possibly is if we turn up against them. We have to go into this game feeling confident with the form that we're in, with certain players being fit, like Casemiro, Martinez. We've just signed Weghorst as well. We have to go into this with a positive mindset, don't we? We have to have a bit of belief. Otherwise, it will be a case of, you know what, we'll just get dominated again. So surely we have to, with Ten Hag there as well, we just have to cling onto the fact that we're on this run of form. I already said it, the most consistent team for me will get top 4. Simple as that. We have to, this next group of games now, obviously City started off, but we've obviously got Palace, we've got Arsenal as well. It's going to be a tough phase, isn't it? And I think if we can get off to the best possible start, I mean, even if it's a draw, obviously ideally we want to win. But I think for me, it's important we don't lose it. And for pride more than anything, you've already mentioned it, we got absolutely battered the first time against City. We don't want that to happen as well again. So I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game. What about, like, because obviously we talk about, we need to win a trophy. We're now close to winning a trophy in that Carabao Cup. We're not there yet by any means, but can we, do you think, can we win that tournament?
Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we can. The issue becomes the amount of games running up to the final, because is it something like 15 games between now and the final for the Carabao Cup, which is over the course of 2 months. That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
You know, playing 2-3 times a week over that course. We do not have the squad depth or the squad quality, I don't think, to maintain the charge on all four fronts. Obviously, you've got the Premier League for top four. You have the Carabao Cup potentially final. We've got Barcelona in the Europa, which, even though they're shocking this season, they can still turn us over quite comfortably. And then we have the FA Cup. Something we'll have to give with this squad because they're just not good enough.
I mean, we're not sitting here saying, we're going to win a quadruple or anything but like that, but a trophy would be nice, wouldn't it? Top four is always a priority, as we know. Top four is a priority, but a trophy would be lovely. And Alex, I'm not saying that I don't think he's prolific. I'm saying his record coming into this is that he's not known as a prolific striker. And he has been in a poor, obviously, a Burnley team, and he hasn't really been at a big team. I'd like to think that we create enough chances for him to get a few goals at United. But I'm just saying his record coming into it, from a lot of fans looking at it, are actually, is he the right guy? But I trust my manager, and I believe that he can be effective for us. And I guess time will tell on that one, won't it? But I think we needed a striker. We've gone out and got a striker, and we just have to have faith that he's going to do good for us, basically. But Acid, to round off, who would you say has been your standout player this season for United? Like, who's been the one that you've enjoyed watching the most?
Honestly, Martinez. The reason being, he just reminds me so much of Vidic. You know, he will run through brick walls. Everyone loves him. He's high-fiving Haya, high-fiving the rest of his defenders.
I love that,
You know, that's what Vidic expected. That's what the fans expect. You know, and the breakthrough, obviously, you can't look any further than Garnacho on the kids' side of things, because he's phenomenal. Every time you see him, he's getting more intelligent. He's choosing the right pass, when to run past defenders, when to shoot. He just hasn't the look in terms of finding the back of the net all the time, but that'll come with age.
Time will come. I think it'll come for him though, and I think the fact that he's getting a lot of minutes, that's what he needs, isn't it? In his development, the more games he plays, especially in the Premier League and in competitive football, I think that's only going to make him better. And he's made a great start, scoring obviously against Fulham as well. That goal just showed his quality, what he can give to this team, and he's been definitely an exciting player. I did laugh at a tweet earlier. You mentioned Martinez, and Martinez, the little pit bull, is outstanding. But I saw a tweet, and Jamie Carragher was tagged in it, and it said, "Weghorst is too tall to play in the Premier League." And Carragher actually retweeted it and was laughing, and that made me laugh. I thought that's quality. But that did make me laugh. That, but Martinez, I think, has been quality. I've already mentioned Casemiro as well. I think he's been outstanding. But I think now going into this derby, we're in a much better place than we were first time round, and I think we just have to hope that this team turn up. Because I think if we do turn up, we can definitely cause them problems. But we have to be wary that City, I think, are going to come back with a vengeance after that Southampton result. And so Fulham have just hit the, I don't know, it's the post or the bar, by the way. Willian's got the ball right now. I'm gonna have to. No, I think it's kind of died down. Willian did his typical little chop, and it was blocked. But Fulham hit the bar there, or the post, and I saw it rebound off. But I think it's going to be an interesting one. Top four has to be priority. A trophy would be nice, whether it's the FA Cup, Europa, or Carabao. Any one of them, I think. I think all of us are probably drawn towards that FA Cup. But silverware is silverware, and we'll be happy with that, won't we? But Ashid, thank you so much for waiting. I know you were waiting for a while, so I appreciate that. And hopefully we can get you on again next week. Thank you so much for calling in.
No, it's a pleasure as always, Soph.
Thank you. You take care. Have a good evening. See ya. Bye. I'm going to mix it up very quickly. I've got Doug waiting as a Liverpool fan. Obviously, we've had a lot of United fans on tonight, so I'm going to get Doug on. Doug, how you doing?
Yeah, good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well. What about you? From the Liverpool point of things, obviously we spoke a lot about United tonight, and we've all been smiling, and I bet you've been there thinking, I can't wait to get on and talk about Liverpool. So, a lot of injuries at the moment for you guys, isn't there? It must be a bit frustrating.
Yeah, it's been a disaster of a season. It has to be said. But I think a lot of things a lot of factors have to be said. our midfield has been neglected since 2020. Like the last midfield signing we signed was Thiago, and you're seeing all these midfielders that are like being linked with us, and we just don't seem. We seem very very slow in the transfer market, and we just seem to not. Like, yeah, we signed Cody Gakpo. That's a good signing, but it's not a position that we were really needed.
Fulham have scored.
Fulham have scored.
Willian, it's deflected in. I'm just getting that in their goal for Fulham. Sorry, Doug, to interrupt you, but yeah, your midfield. Obviously, you signed Arthur, didn't you? But that was a bit of a weird one with his injury record as well. That when you did go for him, when you've already got an injury-struck midfield, yeah, that was a risk, wasn't it?
It was, and you know he gets injured until February, and it's like it's just back to square one again. But that was a bit of a panic sort of signing. We needed to get someone. I think Klopp said it himself. He needed to get someone in before the summer window ended. But yeah, Arthur. I don't know who scouted him, but he was certainly not on my list of midfielders to get. That's for certain.
Yeah. I think Gakpo's a good signing for you. And in the little snippets we've seen, I think he looks good, to be honest with you. But I do agree that midfield, obviously, a lot of talks that if you do get new owners or a pot takeover or wherever it may be, that Bellingham might be the one that you go in for. Enzo Fernandez, obviously, is still a name that is out there with all the top teams at the moment, and no one has kind of tied him down. And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, especially if we get new owners as well. It might be a head-to-head, really, with, obviously, you want that landmark signing, and Bellingham seems like he's going to guy, doesn't it? So I think it's going to be a really interesting one with that. What is your realistic target then for this season now for Liverpool? Like, where do you see you guys finishing up?
I mean, at this moment in time, I don't see us getting top four. I think the last thing I want to see us is in the Europa League, because I think Thursday, Sunday football, as much as you know, is as good as it sort of is for certain teams, I don't think it would be good for us. In fact, I think no Europe would be fantastic for us. We can rebuild. We can basically go away, rebuild, see what happened this season.
Yeah.
But I do not want anything to do with the Europa Conference League. I do not want to be in that. So yeah, for me, no Europe would be very very good. I don't see us winning the Champions League. I think we're going to get absolutely smashed by Real Madrid. It's just the way things have been going. Defensively, we're in absolute shambles. But I don't think defensively you can kind of put on it. I think midfield is the problems. I mean, Fabinho looks like he's aged about 10 years, like he's 29 years old. He looks about 39. His legs have gone. Henderson, his legs have gone. Thiago, he's going to be out of contract very, very soon. So we're going to have a bit of a discussion point over these sort of 30 plus players who are in our squad at the moment, because we need fresh ideas in the midfield. And I think with Keita potentially going, Ox possibly going, Milner probably retiring as well, that's a lot of wages that are coming off the wage bill. So hopefully we'll be able to, get some midfielders on them.
Yeah. I think you mentioned Thiago there. I've got to be honest, like he's a player that I wanted at United back in the day. He's getting on, don't get me wrong, but he's still such a silky player and is an absolute pleasure to watch. Joe Felix is just running through on goal. He's had a shot on target, but it's straight at the keeper. But yeah, I think Thiago is a luxury player, isn't he? I think he's a player that you have in there, but you need a bit of protection. And you mentioned the back four. I feel like you're not really getting that protection. And don't get me wrong, I think Van Dijk's had a poor season as well, but he hasn't had much protection as well. And I do feel not getting that midfielder is something that you regret. Darwin Núñez, I know a lot of people laugh at him and whatnot, and he's a bit of a meme nowadays, but you have to be honest, I think it's going to take him a bit to settle. He's still got all the attributes to be an absolute handful. Even though his finishing hasn't been there, he's getting in the positions, he stretches defences, he's rapid, he's strong, and I do think he'll come good for you guys. But that midfield is a big issue, definitely. What's your thoughts on United, obviously, from a rival point of view? Because obviously a lot of United fans are getting carried away. We're not getting too carried away, but we are feeling happier than we have been. What's your thoughts on from a rival? Like, are you fearing United again, or do you think we're going in the right direction?
I think you're in very, very good form. I think most of that is definitely down to Casemiro. I think he has been one of the signings of the summer. Many people said that he was probably finished when he came from Madrid, but I knew then he was a very, very good midfielder. But I just think that midfield signing that the position that you have badly needed is definitely CDM. You have solved that. I think now is probably right winger. Obviously I know you've got Anthony as well, but I think Elanga, I'm not so sure about him. I think he needs a loan. I don't think he's quite ready. And then I would probably say that the position probably, I know you've obviously got Jack Butland on loan. I don't think he'll be there by the summer. Like, obviously it's a loan deal. But I think Martinez has been a very good signing at the back as well. I just think Ten Hag has finally knows what his best starting 11 is. And Rashford is on fantastic form yet again, which is good to see, because I think he had a lot of stick after sort of the Euros, like obviously missing that penalty. And then I think he had a lot of stick coming into sort of last season. But I think just having that new manager, I think has really, really allowed him to sort of be sort of free now, rather than sort of be. I know he likes to be like out in the wing, but he seems to like to sort of cut inside. And I don't think he's a forward striker. I think he's more of a winger. So I think you guys getting Wout Weghorst, look, I'll be honest, I think that's a sensible signing. I think if you need a striker who can come in and, you know, score goals. I mean, I'm looking at Wout Weghorst's stats here. And his prolific club is Wolfsburg. He scored 70 goals and had 22 assists and 144 appearances. So, you know, everywhere he's been, bar obviously Wolfsburg, he hasn't really been prolific.
Yeah.
But that sort of option to come off the bench and be a bit of a nuisance in the box, I think you've been kind of missing that.
Definitely, I'd agree with that. And I think Ten Hag obviously likes him. He obviously likes Ten Hag. The chance to play for Man United is something obviously he isn't going to want to let that slip, because he's 30 now. This is the big break you think he'll get in his career, so he's going to want to grab it with both hands. And I think it's going to be a really interesting one. I hope that it pays off. I really do. Fulham have just nearly scored again. I don't know what happened there. Thiago Silva's got it away. It's a bit of an interesting game, this one, actually. Come on, Fulham. That's all I'm saying. Come on, Fulham. Well, yeah, I think the Liverpool one, I think you're in a period of transition at the minute. Obviously, with the new owner looming thing as well. Obviously, we've got Ten Hag in, so we're kind of in that transition period as well. But you'd probably say that we're slightly further along the line now. We just need that new owner thing as well. But further along the line, as in, like, you've got a lot of players who are going to retire, and you think you've got like your new phase coming in, if you like.
Yeah.
And I think for us now, we've obviously got fresh faces coming in. Slowly but surely, Ten Hag is forming his squad of his choices. And I just feel like it might be where Liverpool lay low for a season or so, like you say, and get those players in and get them to gel, whether it be under a Klopp, or we'll see what happens, obviously, with that. But, yeah I'm not writing Liverpool off, because I still think you've got enough quality in your team to cause issues. But the injuries is a big concern, isn't it? Because you don't really have that squad depth, the quality to then replace those big players, the big boots to fill at the end of the day, likes of Van Dijk, aren't they? If Thiago gets injured, that's a big player to fill. Nunes apparently is injured now as well, so where are the goals coming from? It's where the injuries are happening, isn't it? And that's the issue. It's in those key areas. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what Liverpool do in this window if you are going to sign anybody. But yeah, I think time will tell on that one. But I'm not writing Liverpool off, because, like I say, you've still got a lot of quality in that squad for sure. And I think it's going to be a really interesting second half of the season. But Doug, thank you so much for coming on. Apologies, it's really
pleasure.
I've got Noah on him. I'm going to very quickly have a quick chat too before we end the stream. It's been a long one today, but it's been so good to talk to everyone. It's been a while since we've done this, and hopefully Doug can get you on again next week. It'd be lovely to chat to you again, and hopefully we'll see if you've got a smile on your face. We'll see what's happening, and see if much has changed, and hopefully I'll be smiling as well. That'd be nice, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was just about to say actually, I do fancy you for the derby. I've got to be honest. I watched City last night and I thought they were terrible. Really, really bad. I think that's the worst they probably played under Pep. Like, passes were going astray. Southampton hit them with two sucker punches, and I don't know what Ortega was doing for that second goal. Like, I was always told as a goalkeeper yeah, I was always told to obviously I was a goalkeeper when I was sort of younger, but I was always told that basically stay on your line as a goalkeeper. And Ortega, I think, is about 10 yards off his line. So the best thing for Gineppo to do was obviously chip him. But yeah, I just think this derby, if you win, it blows the title race open. Because I have a feeling that something strange might happen in the North London derby. Maybe Spurs get something off off Arsenal. And obviously, you've got the game against Crystal Palace at the weekend.
Which is not going to be easy as well. George, it's good to be back, honestly. I know I've not been the most consistent with work and stuff as well, but I promise you I will do these regular call-ins because it is really good to hear your guys' views, and not just from United fans, from all football fans, because at the end of the day, this is a football channel. I know I'm a United fan, but I just love talking football. I could talk football all day, so honestly, it's been great to hear everyone's views. But yeah, Doug, I'm sure we'll be messaging
I'm sure we will be.
And whatnot, and hopefully you are right and we can blow this title race wide open. But thank you so much, and guys, make sure you do subscribe to Doug's channel as well. The Dugout is written right there on his name. Make sure you go and check him out because he does some great content, very consistent content there as well. So thank you so much, Doug. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Hopefully Fulham can continue this lead against Chelsea. We shall see. But yeah,
absolutely.
And you take care.
Yeah, you too. See you later. Thank you everyone to chat as well.
Yeah,
Cheers.
no problem. Bye. And then lastly, but not least, we have got Noah. Noah, thank you so much for being patient and waiting. How you doing?
Thank you very much, Sophie. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Look, we've talked about a lot tonight. We've talked about Weghorst coming in. We've talked about the derby. What do you want to talk about? Are you a United fan, I'm guessing?
Yeah, let's talk about, on the Manchester derby on Saturday. It's an amazing enjoyment, exciting game. The one of the greatest, the biggest derby in England. We all know that. I know everyone is going to say it's Tottenham and Arsenal, but I would not say that. But I know, City are going to, they're ready. They're humbling. I know Pep Guardiola, what he said then, the yesterday, that if they play like this on their performance, they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
That means that means that it's not just with them they're in big trouble. It means it's the lesson that Ten Hag will be managed for the last time that we lost 6-3 at Etihad.
Yeah.
It's because of Haaland and Mount, not just them. It's Kevin De Bruyne, entire team, because we haven't marked them, and most of all, Casemiro hasn't played most of fully in full time. But I'm hopefully we're improving well. Big improvement. We'll keep improvement over again. But I'm very happy what we are doing right now. The culture is very changing. How the way of tactics of he's changing right now as a manager right now. Yeah. But I'm really happy what Marcus Rashford is keeping improvement. 8 goal consecutive games. But I'm really happy about that. It's not just him. It's about Casemiro, even Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, Martinez also as well.
Yeah.
So many players as well. But I'm very happy for them. But the only thing that if we win 3 games, City, Crystal Palace, then Arsenal, that means we're going to improve them. That means we might have a chance for a title race. But I don't think for me that we might be in the title race, United. It's just the first season. But I do hopefully that Carabao Cup, we might win it. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
I hope
will be amazing. Top 4 priority, of course. You say top 4 is priority, and anything else is an absolute.
Yeah, top 4. It's it's done. That will be finishing in top 4, no matter how it is. That's what I'm opinion. That's what I'm gonna say. But my prediction I'll be giving is 3-2. But I know the clean sheets. It might be hard, but it's gonna be nervous. I don't travel, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
that's what I'm.
We'll be rocking. We've got enough to be feeling confident about at the moment. And I just feel like if we turn up, and we always seem to say that, don't mean to cliches it, but if we turn up and bring our A game, we can definitely cause City some problems. Look, we know what they've got. We know they can cause us issues. You did make a good point. Casemiro coming in has obviously solidified us. And we are in a much better shape than we were when we first played City. They're going to be fearing us as well. Of course they are.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to make for a really entertaining game. I think you are right to say both teams will score. I think it will be tight. Might need a bit of VAR look or something like that. Who knows? But I do think it's going to be a tight game, and I am looking forward to it. I'm always looking forward to see my team play. My last question to you, Noah, and hopefully you join me next Thursday so we can have a bit of a longer chat. Sorry that it's been a bit of a short one today. But my last question to you is: who's been your standout player this season?
For me, right now, it's probably Marcus Rashford. As I said, since the World Cup, he's keep scoring. He hasn't been, he hasn't he hasn't stopped scoring. Every time he scores, I am very happy that way he's keeping scoring.
Yeah.
Let it keep continuing. It's not this team. Even Casemiro, I would say both of them, but it's not just Rashford, even Casemiro as well. Because how the way he goes, he also fights and even tackle as well. But I would love to give Lisandro Martinez what a way he has done after when he came out, the World Cup winning of that. I'm really happy with that. But I hope he will get mark, against Haaland. It's going to be huge game. Let's see what happens. That's what I'm going to say.
Let's see what happens. No, it's been an
Yeah.
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for chatting for me.
Okay, thank you, Sophie, for
to
having me. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
All right.
You too. You take care and I'll
You
speak
too.
to you soon.
Okay,
See
you
ya.
too.
Bye.
All right, peace. Bye.
Guys, thank you so much for supporting. As always, I love these shows. Just to let you know, it is still 1-0 for Fulham, but Chelsea have had a few chances. Joe Felix has had a few efforts as well, but it is still 1-0 to Fulham. So I'm going to just let you know on that. But guys, thank you to everyone. We had a few new callers today, which is amazing. Obviously, keep sharing the videos, keep telling people where we are. And of course, hit a like. I've tried to get through most comments if I can do, but if I've missed any, just drop a comment afterwards, as always. And yeah, thank you so much. It's been so good to chat to you all, and I'll hopefully see you all again soon. I will be doing some content at the weekend, most likely Sunday morning, a recap from the game. And also I will be doing my ECL stream on Sunday night where I'm obviously playing FIFA, and you guys can obviously come and join me over there and watch United hopefully win a few games. We'll see. But until next time, guys, look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Come on, Fulham, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.